Shalom, shalom, man. Shabbat, shalom. Happy Sabbath, peaceful Sabbath, restful Sabbath, right? It's another Sabbath day, man. The Lord has brought us back to another seventh day. So all praises for that. We endured and made it through another week. Whether you had good news, whether you had bad news, we've made it to another Sabbath day, the Lord's day, right? It's the Lord's Sabbath. It's not our Sabbath, it's the Lord's Sabbath, right? We can't just do what we want to do. We got to do what the Lord wants us to do because it's his Sabbath. Much just like it is the Lord's Passover. We can't just do what we want to do. Let me go ahead and show the calendar. We can't do what we want to do. We got to do what the Lord wants us to do because it's not our Passover that we keep our Passover. It's keep the Lord's Passover, right? When you go and you read about Josiah, it said Josiah kept the Lord's Passover, right? And if you read it, right, you'll see that Josiah named the Lord's Passover the sacrifices, right? It said that he killed the Lord's Passover, meaning it was a sacrifice. We got videos on that. We've talked about that. But nonetheless, here's our calendar 2026. Feast days on this side, it says Passover, April 3rd. Passover, April 3rd. Unleavened bread, April 4th, right? So those are what's coming up next. Our new year was March 21st, which was last week. But yeah, here's our calendar. Take a screenshot. If you want it, email us and we will get that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Via email or Instagram, whatever it may be. But let me bring us back on stage. Right? So today's lesson, man, is a Sabbath lesson, a Sabbath class, whichever one you may want to call it, right? But the title is What's Right is Greater Than Your Life. Now, I did have the greater than sign, but apparently YouTube doesn't allow you to put that in the title. It's like a weird character or whatever. So what's right is greater than your life, right? What's right is greater than your life. And what we're going to be speaking about today is giving up pleasure, right? For what's right, for obedience, giving up pleasure for obedience. Shalom to the brother Baruch in the chat, who's hopped on at the same exact time as the brother Denal. Shalom to the brother Denal as well, right? Getting this thing started. I'm going to share my screen. But before I do that, I want to say, giving all glory and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? That's the bloodline. Through his son, who he sent, that was prophesied to be our instrument of salvation to save the nation. And that nation is Israel, right? Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, because we are scattered. Shalom to the believers, the commandment keepers. Shalom to the cleavers, right? Out there that want to take the skirt of him that's a Jew and say, take me with you, because I know that God is with y'all, right? So shalom to everybody, man. Peace and blessings. Let me share my screen and we'll play the blowing of the shofar. Brother must got a cold up in his house, man. Come on, man. Hey, let's get into this. I got quite a few precepts, if you can see here listed, but they're all quick and snappy, just like your compact pistol, right? They're quick and sharp, like a two-edged sword. And we're going to get these precepts and we're just going to talk about this title, man. What's right is greater than your life. What's right is greater than your life. I have some talking points I wanted to go into real quick, and then we'll get into this first precept, and we'll read from left to right. Hold up. Let me see if I can drag this. Yeah, there we go. Hold up. Let me drag it. Hold up. I thought I could drag it. You're not letting me do it. Oh, there you go. All right. Salaki. So the talking points I got is Sabbath lesson, what's right is greater than your life. Men not settling down for experiences, right? We have a lot of young men, right, that don't want to settle down because they want to experience life. Bro, I'm not even 30 yet. I'm only 30. I still got a lot of vacations to go to. I still got a lot of things I want to accomplish in my life. Brother, you already got a child. It's too late for that. You got somebody knocked, you need to marry that girl. Stop, But we have men that choose experiences over obedience. When the law of God says if you lay down with somebody to have a baby with them, you're supposed to endow them to be your wife and not put her away all the days of your life. You did that, brother. Not that sister. She didn't trap you, right? So that's one thing too. A lot of times men, they want to get their career off the ground, and even when they get their career off the ground, they're making well over 6 figures. They still don't want to do the right thing and be obedient to God. They still, now that I got my money up, now I'm going on vacations. Now I'm, taking flicks for the gram. They want to choose the experiences of life over obedience, over what's right. And then, I don't want to settle down. You know what I'm saying? It's so many fish in the sea. I still want to experience. I haven't got it all out my system. Where do we get that concept of getting it all out of your system? Right? That right there is that's not obedient. That's being a whoremonger, right? We got to get that out of our system, actually, right? And become obedient and understand that sometimes giving up the fun life, hey man, I understand some of us, we gave up a lot of things to come into the knowledge of this truth, whether it be pursuing a sport, pursuing a career, uh, uh, a lot of things were given up to be obedient. And that's what it's gonna have to take to get to the kingdom, is denying your flesh. A lot of people think denying your flesh is, I'm gonna get off of social media. I'm gonna read my Bible because I don't like reading my Bible. Denying my flesh. I'm gonna make sure I eat healthy. Hey man, those are things you're supposed to do. Denying your flesh, though, is denying temptation, right? Temptation. What does that mean? It's denying the things that you see other people do that you desire to do, right? The lust of the flesh, the pride of life. Going to, he's scamming it, man. He make that look so easy, scamming and gambling. I'm gonna do that. She make it look so easy, selling her body for millions of dollars. I could just I don't have to take as racy pictures as her. I could just take some curvy pictures and get my bread up. These Negroes out here, they'll pay for anything, right? You got to deny the lust of temptation, right? Even though it seems boring, even though it seems lame, even though it seems like you're broke and busted. What did Christ say? He had no place to lay his head. Like foxes have holes, he don't have no home. He was homeless. He didn't have no food. You got to be able to be content in everything in your life. It says women divorcing for happiness. We get a lot of women nowadays that aren't traditional women. There's a spirit in our women to want to be a man. They'll have 2 or 3 kids and wake up out of the clear blue and say, I don't want to do this no more. And then they'll leave. And they'll leave the kids with the man. Now, there's cases where the men are getting child support. Women are leaving there. She may live in Georgia. She wake up and now she lives in North Dakota and she's camping. She got a whole family at home. She don't care nothing about it. She said, I'm choosing my happiness over my family. My kids deserve a happy mom. Right? Go ahead, Obadiah.
Or it may be a situation when you have a woman that got like 2 or 3 kids and she decides she want to be a dyke. I don't want to be a woman no more. I want to be a man. As she acting like she a whole man. She got 3 kids, and she all of a sudden now want to be a dyke. Want to deal with men no more.
Right, she want to be a bulldagger, man.
Yeah, man.
want to be a stud. She want to live the aggressive life, right? And nowadays women, man, they're so consumed with themselves, they'll have their hair and nails done and their daughter will look like trash. Daughter hair not done, daughter look musty and dusty, right? Don't make no hair appointments. It's up to the man to make the hair appointments, right? And so this is the time we're living in where people are choosing their own happiness over obedience. They're choosing rather to pleasure themselves and keep up with society in their own image, right? And be conceited over being obedient, over shepherding and nurturing a family, right? And raising up godly people, right? Nobody wants to raise up godly people no more. Everybody just wants to claim that they're godly, right? I put God first in my life, man. Put God first in your life and you get all what I got, man. Man, life is so good. God's so good to me, man. And man, don't deceive yourself, right? So we got to put away pleasure. We got to put away experiences. We got to put away happiness for obedience. Because at the end of the day, this life is short. I also have here, you have to give your life up for what's right. I know that don't sound fun. Bro, you missing out on life. Bro, you just gonna do that every Saturday? You know, too much go on Saturday, man. The step show on Saturday, the trail ride on Saturday, the car show on Saturday, the mall be busting on Saturday. Man, the club. Hey, man, you gotta give up all that fun for what's right. And you know what that looks like? That looks like servitude, because we become servants, right? What we're about to read, we become servants to righteousness, right? This is not the life worth living or caring to get the most out of, right? This life is short. The one that we want the most out of is the next life. So this one right here, everything is just a temptation. Everything's just a test. Everything really is just a facade. It's a dream. You know, when you wake up from a dream and it seems so real, but then when you wake up, you snap back to reality. You're not walking around all day moping. I really want that dream to be true, man. Oh man, I had that car that I want. Then I woke up. Oh, I had that girl I wanted. No, you snap back to reality and you live your life. This is what that life is like. The life that we're living is literally a dream. You're going to wake up one day and realize you're either going to be tormented or you're going to have everlasting life. And you're going to realize I was dreaming this whole time. None of this was true. None of this was reality, right? But let's get into these scripts now, man. That's all the talking points I had. Romans 6 and 16. If the brother Obadiah could read that for me.
Romans 6 and 16. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or obedience unto righteousness.
Right, man. Servants, right? You're either going to serve sin or you're going to be obedient to righteousness. And you yield yourself, right? A lot of people, you know, that give in to the war of politics. No, I don't serve them. I don't, you know, it's my voice. It has nothing to, no, you've given into the societal norms, right? You pursuing careers and things that have nothing to do with God. You've yielded yourself to the world, right? You yield yourself to the world whenever you choose to do something that does not uplift God. You can't serve two masters, right? And you could say even for the Greek life, Greek fraternities and sororities, man, I serve God. No, you don't. Because if you serve God, you will be obedient unto righteousness, but you're serving unto sin, meaning you've yielded yourself. So this is the thing, right? Nobody's saying that you stop believing in God, but a lot of the things you do, you bring before God, meaning what? You tag it along with you. It's on your backpack. It's on your arm. You're carrying it, right? So you appear before God with that thing, and God's going to look at you crazy. That would be like if you have a daughter or you have a son that's a toddler and you outside enjoying the day and they come back and in their hand is a raccoon. They holding it by the tail, right? You don't want that before you. You like, man, why does my child have a raccoon in their hand? And it's alive, right? You like, man, you get that from away from me. And why do you have it? That's what God's looking at a lot of the decisions we make in life, right? It's like those prestigious establishments, whether it be a restaurant or whether it be like a club back in the day. You know, brothers and sisters used to go to club backs in the world. Some of them clubs, you go to a club and they don't allow you to wear hats. You know what I'm saying? And you get to the and you get to the I think this was in a Drewski skits, one of Drewski skits too. But you get to the club with your hat on, they tell you, hey man, you can't bring that in here, right? And you tripping and whatnot. Just like in that Drewski skit, you know what I'm saying? Some people take their hats off and they're fine with it and they walk straight in, right? And then some people say, man, screw it, I don't keep my hat on. They keep it pushing. That's what it looks like for a lot of people in life when they get to the door and the Most High say, hey, nah, you can't bring that in here. They typically walk away with their hat, with that thing they can't let go. And that's how you know it's idolatry.
Come, man. It says, "Know ye not that whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey?" That's who you serve, right? If you yield yourself to weed, you a servant to weed. If you yield yourself to anything, man, that's what you're a servant to, right? And so when we go out and we evangelize, we try to tell people, man, don't let nothing take away your power, bro. Don't let nothing take away your authority and your dominion. We're supposed to be the ones taking dominion, and we're letting all these things that are pleasures in life have dominion over us. Whether it comes to the girls, whether it comes to the jewelry, whether it comes to the cars, the trucks, whether it comes to the careers, whether it comes to the money, we allow a lot of these things to have dominion over us. And because of that, it influences our decisions. And we can find ourselves walking. Let's go to the next one, James 4:14.
Look at James chapter 4 and 14. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, or what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanishes away.
Like, this life ain't for a long time. And you can take that two ways. You can take it like the sinners take it. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, that's how the sinners take it. I'm trying to get all the fun that I can before this life is over with, man. But the righteous take it as, don't care about this life. It's short. And I know it seems long, and I know it seems like you're enduring, and I know it seems like, it's never going to end. And some people get to the point where they take their life because they think that this life is just so hard and so long, right? But the righteous, man, the obedient, we know that this life will vanish away in a little time. Right? Let's get the next precept. So it's no point of you doing the pleasures of this life, because it's gonna amount to nothing. It's gonna cause you to go astray, and before you know it, a blink of an eye, you're gonna be caught in your sin. Mark 4:19.
Mark 4:19, and the cares of this world and deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in choke the word and it becometh unfruitful.
Right. So this is the parable of the sower, right? And the cares of this world are seen as thorns, the thorns that come up and it chokes the flower, right? A lot of times a seed is planted. We've seen it. A couple names come to mind. The seed is planted, the flower grows up, and you looking at that brother, you looking at that sister, wondering what they're gonna do, because you see them thorns growing every day, that vine growing every day, and it's around their root. You're like, man, are they gonna outdo the thorn? And that thorn end up wrapping around that stem and choking the flower out. And they're back in the world. Why? Because of the deceitfulness of riches. Why are riches deceitful? Because even though it looks good, it looks like you can do whatever you want, right? They deceive you and you really get trapped, right? You get trapped into sin. You get trapped into unhappiness. You get trapped into debt, right? It says, and the lust of other things entering in, right? The lust of, I want to join this. I want to be this. Yeah, I know what's right, but man, this looks too fun.
I ain't gonna cap. I just want people to applaud me and look at me like a celebrity, right? It come in and choke the word, man. And now you ain't got no more word in you. And you become unfruitful. What does it mean to become unfruitful? You're not doing nothing for the kingdom. You're just doing everything for yourself. And those pictures only last a couple of seconds. Them parties only last a few hours, right? That money only lasts as long as you have it and then you spend it. I know a lot of us, we spent money on big purchases, and you buy that big purchase, whether it be, I don't know, a watch, a hat, whether it be some jeans, and you spend all that money and you have that buyer's remorse. You get in the car and be like, dang, I really just spent that much. I just spent that much on an item. You're like, man, I could have did this with that money. I could did this with that money. I had buyer's remorse the other day, man, confessing my sin. It's not a sin, but confessing. I had buyer's remorse the other day when I went out to eat. I wasn't keeping track of what I was ordering. That tab came out. I was like, man, I could have bought this with that. I could have bought that with that. I could have got some gas with that. You know? So this is the thing, man. You get caught up in the deceitfulness of this world, and it will trap you, right? Let's read Luke 21 and 34.
Luke 21 and 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overchanged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares.
Right? You got to take heed of yourself. Why? Because it's very easy to fall into those things. Why? Because it pleasures you, right? It pleasures you to do too much, right? We have that phrase now, you're doing too much. That phrase we have now, you're doing too much, is because everybody likes to do too much, right? Go ahead.
I was gonna say too, man. It also looks like, you living day to day for that one thing, right? You living day to day to achieve that vehicle, right? And you're like, man, if I could just get that vehicle, life would be good. And then, before you know it, before you even get the vehicle, Christ come back. You know what I'm saying? He says, so that day come upon you unawares. Like, you spent your whole life saying, man, if I could get to this vehicle, then I'll do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And your mind was laser focused on that thing, on attaining that thing, but it wasn't the main thing. We talk about all the time, you gotta keep the main thing, because if not, you'll get distracted. That's what it talks about, the cares of this life in this verse too. The things that are placed in this life are distractions and temptations, man. You got to wiggle through those things. A lot of times we can get sidetracked by them, and we're natural. We're human. It's gonna happen, but you got to be able to know when to cut certain stuff out. Like I said at the beginning of this verse as well, because you'll be overcharged with surfeiting, right? Now, one thing here or there, you know what I'm saying? You might get a little bit of money and whatever, but you don't want to be overcharged with it, because it'll take you out of sight of the main thing, right? Which is doing this work of the Lord, which is looking out and telling the times of where we're in to look for your coming Messiah. You know what I'm saying? You'll miss that.
Come on, man. The cares of this life will distract you to where you won't even know we're living in the end days. You won't even know. And that's why we go out and evangelize, to wake people up. Why? Because they're sleeping. They're sleeping in the cares of this life, right? Going back to the analogy, when you're sleeping and you have a good dream, right? You don't even want to wake up. You don't even know that you're dreaming, right? Until you wake up unawares, right? Just like it says, that day come upon you unaware. Before you know it, it's over with. And that's what surfeiting and drunkenness and all these things do, is they distract you from the time that you're in, right? They keep you what they say, like Michael Jordan did. He'll be dribbling the ball. He'll rock you to sleep. He dribbling the ball so much, you forgot you were playing defense, and then he go right around you, right? That's all these things in this life are doing, man, right? And you have to take heed, man, because your hearts will be pleased by some of these things in the world. For example, I was in a parking lot at 10 a.m., just getting to work in the parking lot, and a brother, he came around. no headphones in his ear. He was dancing. And I'm like, what is this brother on drugs? What's going on? He looked like a student though, like a college student. He was dancing. And then out of nowhere, he just pulls out his pocket some papers and some weed, starts rolling up while he dancing. 10 a.m. in the morning. The brother lived for this. You could tell like he needed this. We've become dependent on pleasures, right? And we have to be able to put the pleasures down, man, and understand that we're putting them down for a good reason. Because I'm not going to tell you that this stuff don't feel good. I'm not going to tell you that this stuff is not desirable. It is. And it seems unfair that we have to put it down for God. But like we just read, man, in the other verse, whatever you yield yourself to, you become a servant of. And a lot of people, they believe in God and they think God gives them this freedom to do whatever they want. But God doesn't give you that freedom to do whatever you want. God makes you a servant. You got to serve him. At the end of the day, you have to serve him. You're a servant. You're not free to do whatever you want to do. But that's been the teaching. And that teaching has caused a lot of people to be carried away with the things of this life. Right? Let's read this. 1 John 2:15. We're going to read, I think, through 16.
God, it's the book of 1 John, chapter 2, and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Right? So love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. That covers everything. That covers all bases. The people, the things that people do, the things that you can do. It says not to love those things. Meaning what? Don't get attached to them. Don't be afraid to put them down. Don't be afraid to miss out on it. Right? If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not. You don't love God. God created all this stuff, man. You don't think he can create better? I tell a lot of people that struggle with relationship problems. You don't think that God can give you that same feeling? Just because that sister walked out on you, just because that brother walked out on you, you don't think that God can give you that same feeling of love and happiness if he created it the first time? Stop giving yourself over to man. Stop giving yourself over to substances. Stop giving yourself over to addiction, right? You got a gambling addiction. You got a scamming addiction because you see how easy it is to make money, right? All those things, man, you can't love that more than you love the Father. You got to be able to give that stuff up. And a lot of times when people don't want to come into the truth, even though you look into their eyes and you know it makes sense, it's because they know that they love something more than they love God. You deep down inside, you see it makes sense to them, and it does not make sense why they don't convert and they don't change their life. And then out of nowhere, you see the sin that they was harboring. Oh, that brother didn't want to give that up. Oh, that sister, she ain't want to stop doing that. Oh, see, I didn't know. I didn't follow. When I followed her Instagram, I understood now. She got an OnlyFans. She didn't want to get that up. Oh, that brother, he likes rolling up and he like rapping. Oh, I see. He didn't want to get that up. He felt like he was going to lose his fans. Oh, that brother, he loved hooping and he can only hoop on Saturdays. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, that brother really want to, so that's the reason why people love the world more than they love the Father. Go ahead, Obadiah.
Cause I was gonna say, just like with that rich man, Yahweh Shah basically told him, and you gotta sell all you got and follow me. And he was like, he couldn't do it. Right? He walked away weeping because he had a lot of things. He wasn't willing to give up those things for the Lord. That's how a lot of our people is in today's time. And that's really what's stopping them from really trying to come into this truth, even though they know it's true. That you can show them in the Bible with the Israelites. And we got to keep the commandments. They can see it plain as day, but they allow their things to stop them from really coming into this thing for real, man. So we got to put away those worldly and fleshly things, because at the end of the day, those things ain't gonna matter. Right. Your phone gonna get destroyed. Your house gonna get destroyed. Your car gonna get destroyed. Right? You gonna get destroyed if you don't repent. So it's like none of these things matter, right? But you got to keep.
John, that's a great point, man. He had many great possessions and he walked away with his head down. And you got to think, he came to God thinking that he had it all in the bag. He came to God thinking like, hey, man, try me. I'm good. I don't sin. I don't. But you selfish, brother. God knows everything, man. He knows what you struggle with, and he knows what you need to give up. Right? Christ probably wouldn't have asked you to give everything that you have if he didn't know deep down inside that's what you struggle with. God, the Most High told Christ at that moment, ask him for his possessions. he was like, all right, that was his chink in his armor. Ask him for that weed. Tell him to get that weed up. Tell him to get that cigarette up. Tell him to get the parties up. Tell him to get that fraternity up. Tell him to get that gang up. Tell him to get that career up. And that's what we do when we go out and we preach the gospel, is we poke at people's armor to see if they're going to give it up. Because we got to. Because if they don't give it up, the love of the Father's not in them. We are vetting them. Go ahead, Brother Obadiah.
Yeah, man. The perfect example would be Abraham, right? Abraham was willing to give up his son for the Lord. He didn't, even though the Lord is really just, seeing that he loved him for real. That what separates Abraham from that rich man that Christ was speaking to. Abraham was willing to truly give up something for the Lord, but the rich man wasn't willing to give up his things for the Lord.
Come on, man. You got to think of all the great people in the Bible. The God, he put chinks in their armor. He tried them, man, to see if they had the love of the Father in them. Whether it was the son of Abraham, right? Whether it was the daughter of Jephthah, right? Whether it was a lot of these people, they had to give up stuff. Whether it was Ezekiel and his wife, a lot of these people, they had to give up stuff. Whether it was Jeremiah and his freedom, a lot of people don't want to give up that freedom and go into prison. That's a big, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Even I'm looking at me like, I don't want to go to prison. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give up my freedom, but that's the cares of this life. If God wants you to go to prison and he gonna send you to prison for this truth, he gonna send you to prison. You can't be scared of it, right? We can't be scared to give up things that we hold near and dear to us, right? Here go another one. A lot of women, right, end up serving their children, and they don't want to reprimand their children. They don't want to spank their kids. They don't want to reprove them. And then also too, a lot of women, they'll end up hating God for miscarriages and things of that nature. But they don't ever think that baby was never mine. It was the Father's, and the Father was giving it to me. And if the Father got to take something from me, I have to be okay with that. Yeah, mourn for a season. I understand. But you don't know why God took that baby from that. God could have been taking a homosexual spirit away from your family. He could have been taking a murderous spirit away from your family, a rebellious spirit. There's plenty of kids that grow up and kill their parents because of bad temperature. You don't know what God is saving you from, so we can't be too attached. And a lot of people will, like I said, will hate God because he caused the miscarriage, or he did this, or he did. God a lot of times will be saving you, but sometimes his saving seems hurtful. It seems like it's taking away the pleasure of your life, the treasure of your life, right? Let's get verse 16, Brother Isaiah.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Right, all these things, man, what you see with your eyes, ooh, that truck so sexy. Ooh, that girl so fine. Ooh, that man so fine. Ooh, man, hey, that life looks so, man, I might want to hit Buddy up. He said to comment, what if I want this? A lot of the stuff that look good to our eyes, man, is of the world. It's not of the Father, right? A lot of things that we think are good opportunities, a lot of the time they're of the world. It's not of the Father, right? A lot of times the situations and things that we put, right, ourselves in is because we love the world. We want to enjoy the experiences of the world, the lust of the flesh, right? What we feel, what we think we look good in, right? A lot of times we do things because we think we look good in it, right? The lust of the eyes, we looking at stuff that we want, right? Sometimes, our eyes are too big for our plate. We don't know that we don't need it until we get it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, that get expensive stuff early on in life, usually later on in life, you know, they live in a simple life because they've experienced that good stuff already, right? So once you get some of this stuff, you realize that, you know, it's not that big of a deal. The pride of life. A lot of us, we got to be able to tell people, yeah, I'm making 6 figures. Yeah, I was making 90K working this job. Yeah, I was, I'm in charge of this, in charge of that, I'm in charge of this. Yeah, bro, you know, I got this much land, you know. That's the pride of life. That's not of the Father, man. You know, and I'm not saying to be broke and disgusted and busted, because we know that the men and women of the Bible God used had riches. We know they had land and stuff, but the thing is, they were not afraid to give it up. When we think about Job and people like that, if God comes to take it, you got to understand he can take it, and you can't be salty about that, right? Let's get this next precept, Brother Obadiah, 2 Timothy 2:3.
Salakia, before the brother read too, you know, I was talking to a friend about, like, you know, the lustful desires of this world, and even in a picking your partner sense, because I was explaining to them, you know, we here at the Hope of the Elect, we did a multitude of lessons about, you know, what to look for in a spouse when you find in the spouse. And I pretty much told them, like, you know, even when picking a partner, you know, it could be not godly thing in making that decision, because sometimes, man, you desire the perfect person so bad. It's no longer about, you know, the Lord making that match. It's about you picking what you want. And sometimes people end up in bad relationships, and they have a bad outbreak. They have a bad outlook on relationships because of the situation that they're going through. But it's all rooted back in, well, what qualities did you look for when you picked this person to be your partner? What qualities were you looking at? Like, were you looking at them spiritually, or was you thinking about the flesh side of things? Because a lot of women in this world too, you know, I see it on social media, and I've talked to a few females from like my past from high school and stuff, and talked to them about it too. And I said, look, man, when y'all picking these brothers, man, y'all got to think about more than, you know what I'm saying, in the flesh. Because a lot of times what happens is somebody is fleshly attracting to you, right? They're very attractive to you, and you make your decision based on the way they look. You make a decision based on what they pack, and you make a decision based on how much money, right? But then you get into these relationships, and spiritually they're bringing you down because you made your decision based on the flesh. So even that is something that's unrighteous in itself. And you got to learn how to, like, again, like the First John 2 said, we got to learn how to love not the world, because all that are in there is the lust of the eyes. One of the things about it is you got to even train your eyes to see past the physical and look at the spiritual person. Look at how that person can elevate you, like the brother Denal quotes on his lessons from time to time, where you go to Sirach 37:15 or 12, and it says, be continued with the godly man, you know, one that will sorrow with thee when thy miscarry. Sometimes you find these brothers, and I'm laying my plane after this, but sometimes you find these brothers, man. Sometimes men, you look at these women with these figures, right? And they end up making your life miserable, a living hell. You know what I'm saying? And it's all because you made your decision based on the flesh, not the spirit, right? So you got to make sure that as a partner, if you're looking for a partner, right, male or female, you got to find the good qualities about the man or the woman that you're looking in according to the spirit, not according to the flesh, and make your decision based on the spirit every time. Because like the brother Azrael said a few moments ago, anything that somebody lacks in the flesh, the Most High can make up for it in the spirit. The Lord can put a spirit in them to give you that same satisfaction that person gives you only in the flesh. But you got to be willing to walk the walk that the Lord wants us to walk and try the spirit, man. But Khan, you so like
Come on, man. The Lord will take the taste out of your mouth too. If you ignore it enough, if you resist the devil enough and temptation enough, the Lord will take the taste out of your mouth and make you satisfied, man. He'll make you satisfied with the manna that He's giving you. You don't have to have eyes for the quail anymore. You don't gotta have eyes for the delicate meat of Egypt no more. He'll give you contentment, right? So everything that the brother just said was true. So that I went back to First John. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, all that comes into play when you picking your partner and you in the world and you wondering why your life is crazy, you wondering why your partner don't love you. It's because you don't love the Father. You got what you deserve. The love of the Father wasn't in you, so you got the love of the world, and the love of the world does not love you back, right? You over here, you know, man, he was, man, I just love a dark skinned man with a full beard, man, and you know, he looked like he got money. Then you get with him, and now he's staying with you because he don't got money. His family has passed down trauma. He don't treat you well. He don't come home till super late at night. It's because you were lusting after the wrong things, right? So not only men, but women can lust after the wrong things too and find themselves in predicament, all because of the pride of life. I want to take cute couple pictures with him and all my friends going to be jealous. Same thing. And like the brother said with the men, a lot of y'all men, y'all wondering why she's not a nurturer. Y'all wondering why she don't love you like your mom love you. It's because you had the love of the world in you, and God gave you what you were giving out. If you were giving out the love of the world, God gonna give you the love of the world. He gonna show you that that's what you are operating in. You wanted her to look a certain way. And you know, brothers always talk about love yours. The grass ain't greener on the other side. That is true. Sometimes you have to be able to be real with yourself and be like, you know what? I'm giving up this for the greater good, and God will make you content in that. And a lot of times I like to tell brothers that get carried away, right? When they make a decision in the truth, right? When we talk about the obedience, walking in the obedience, knowing that God has a chosen people, the Israelites, and we got to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Not everybody's going to accept that, bro. Sis, that man or that girl that you want, they probably are not going to accept that. Sometimes you got to pass them up. And you may say, you know, there's more men out there that are kinder than my man, and there's a lot of men out there that look better than my man and make more money, and you know, I can easily get them. But guess what? That man don't accept the truth. He don't keep the feast days. Same thing with his brothers. Like, yeah, it's a lot more fish out in the sea, and it's more temptation for brothers because, you know, polygyny is not unlawful. So, you know, brothers, you know, they quick to ruin their life and just say, you know what? She don't keep the feast days. I don't even know if she will wear fringes. She think they're funny. I don't even know if she will sit down and watch a lesson, but she look good. I'm sure she'll be a good mother though. No, she don't even accept the truth. And a lot of us, we bypass that all for what? The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, because of how it make us look and how it make us feel, experiences. So that's a mighty point. Brother Obadiah, if you can read this, 2 Timothy 2:3.
2 Timothy 2:3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
So before I go to the next verse, we're gonna read Salakia. We're gonna read another verse in this as well. You gotta endure hardness as a good soldier, man. We're all soldiers, right? And one thing about a soldier is, you know, soldiers are chastised. You can't wear what you want to wear when you're a soldier. You can't be where you want to be. That's called AWOL, absent without leave. You can't be where you want to be when you're a soldier, right? You're chastised as a soldier. You can't do what you want to do. Why? Because you have signed the dotted line to serve. You have signed the dotted line to give up your life. And that's why I didn't join the military, because I realized I was signing my life away. I can't, you know, even if I want my family to live in a warm climate, they might put me in North Dakota or Montana where it's snowing all the time. I have no control. You have no control over your life. And that's how we have to look at it with the Most High. Where the Most High say go, go. Where he say don't go, don't go. Where he say dress, he say dress. Where he say don't eat, don't eat. Man, I love that low country boil though, man. God don't really care if we eat that stuff, man. It's not what go into us. Man, you giving into food? You giving into a meal? Come on, bro. You're not a servant of God. You serving yourself. You serving yourself when it comes to modesty. It doesn't say what modesty is. I can wear this. I believe it's modest. Just because you don't believe it's modest, you giving into outfits. You giving into stares. You giving into likes. Come on, bro. Sis, you know, you gotta endure hardness. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be easy. Nobody said that, right? Nobody said that. You're right. Nobody said that. Nobody said it was gonna be fair. But you gotta be a soldier. Is you a soldier? Hey, And I like the brother Obadiah. He came from a beginning, an origin, and I love that name. Prisoners of Yahushua, prisoners of Christ. You literally are locked up for this, man. You do whatever he say do. You are literally a prisoner in Christ's jail. If he say it's time to eat, it's time to eat. If he say it's time to go back to your bed, it's time to go back to your bed. You can't be out all night. Go ahead, Obadiah.
I was gonna say, just like, you know, going back to the point of you like talking about spouses and things like that. Just really just imagine, you know, Christ being your father, right? Would you take that person that you're trying to pursue to Christ and be like, this is my husband or this is my wife? And you like, would you feel comfortable taking that person to Christ if he was your father in a sense, and having he or she having a conversation with him? Or what would that person be like? Would you feel comfortable with that person going to him? That's what a lot of us got to think, man. Like, a lot of times people be so caught up in looks and things like that, but looks fade. You know, people get old. A person may get in a car accident, mess their whole face up. They ain't gonna look the same. But are you still gonna be down with that person, or are you just with them because of the moment? You know, and that's not gonna last if you just in it for just the moment at hand. That's what I said.
Come on, man. And a lot of people, you know, they give into popularity, fame, and clout, right? This person may not be the right person for you, but because they got clout, because they'll make you look good by being by them, you choose that person. Then now you want to leave when you find out it's not the world ain't about clout. Clout is not gonna give me happiness or peace. Now you want to leave them, right? You gotta watch what you lay down in bed with, right? Let's read the next verse in verse 4.
Verse 4: No man that warreth entangles himself with the affairs of his life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier.
Come on, man. You a soldier, right? You can't worry about a battle that's not going to benefit anything, right? The affairs of this life. You in the middle of war, but you worried about a sports bet. And I'm saying this because we probably have American soldiers that are overseas right now worried about sports bets. If you're in the middle of war, you're not supposed to entangle yourself with those matters. That's not the war that you in, bro. That's not the war that you in, sis. You done signed a contract, right? And so just like that, the affairs of this life, we shouldn't meddle ourselves in it. Once you get into the weeds of the affairs of this life, man, it's going to be hard to get out. It's going to be hard to untangle yourself, right? You'll be like Jada Smith in an entanglement, right? She was actually entangled in something. And then you catch feelings, you catch addictions and all this, right? And it says that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier, because we're not supposed to please ourselves. We're supposed to deny. You know, a lot of people they don't like teachers' pets. They don't like pick-me's. They don't like people that do the right thing. Why? Because they're like, man, I want to do what I want. That person can give that up if they want to. I'm not going to do that. But that pick-me, that teacher's pet, they're not trying to please themselves. They're trying to please somebody that's over them, right? There's a lot of things I did in my life that I did not because I didn't want to do the opposite, but I wanted to please my parents. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna sneak out. I want my parents to be proud of me. I want them to, you know, brag about me today friends. You know, I want to please my grandmother. I want to make her proud. So I'm not gonna get addicted to drugs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, we have to understand that we're soldiers and servants for somebody else. We're supposed to be pleasing him, not ourselves. But a lot of times we get that me, I spirit. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my happiness. I'm doing this for my peace. I got to do this for me. And that's pushed on us heavy. But that's not what it's not about me. It's about the Most High, right? Let's get Hebrews 11 and 25. Brother Danal.
Hebrews 11 and 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Right. You got to be able to endure affliction if it come down to it. And it's gonna come down to, if you choose a life of obedience, you're gonna be afflicted because there's gonna be things you can't do, and there's gonna be things that you're required to do that seem out of the way, that seem like you're doing too much, that seem inconvenient. And the pleasures of sin is only for a season. You know, you grow up, right? You can join that gang or that fraternity or that sorority you want, but you're gonna get older and it's not gonna be the same. It's only for a season, right? You can enjoy weed for a while, but pretty soon everybody's gonna look at you crazy when you're super old and you still blowing tree, right? All these things are for a season. You can go out of your wits for women or go out of your wits for a car or a truck, but if that motor break down or she get fat or she get in a car accident and her face, guess what? It was for a season, bro, sis. It was for a season. It's only for a little. That pleasure only lasts a little while. Even when you think about the pleasure that comes with sleep, it only lasts a little while. And after that, you may be feeling good for a couple more minutes, just, you know, chilling, but eventually that feeling goes away. It's only for a season. When you win a championship game, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it feels good for that night, but that's all it is for a season. That's why people, when they win championship games and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, they have to keep getting drunk and intoxicated to keep enjoying the feeling, because the feeling fades, you know, and because the ones that don't get drunk and stuff like that, you know, they be like, man, it's on to the next one, you know, that's over with. It's a new day. The pleasure fades. And so we have to understand, we have to choose what doesn't fade, and that's God. God gonna always be there. And we got to be like Moses, man. Moses gave it up. Moses gave it up. Abraham gave it up. Job gave it up. Jephthah gave it up. Judas Maccabee gave it up, and all his brothers and stuff, right? Mattathias and all of them, they gave it up. A comfortable life. You got to be able to give it up, man, for the Most High God, and be uncomfortable and be afflicted and be okay with that. Be content with that, right? You got to choose what's right over your life, right? The Maccabees, that's a perfect example of choosing what's right over your life, because they could have easily made that covenant with the heathen like the other wicked Israelites, right? Because it said what? Since we departed from them, our lives have been pretty much hell. So, you know, you can go ahead and, you know, make a covenant, or you can do what's right. And what's right doesn't always feel good, because why? It's not pleasure. It's not pleasure. It's not pleasure to do what's right, but it's what we got to do. It's right. It's what's right. Right. So Hebrews 12:7.
God, this is Hebrews 12:7. If you endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?
Right. When you chastise somebody, it means you're holding them back from something, right? It means you're holding them back from something for a greater cause, right? When you think about a chastity belt, right? A chastity belt was put on a woman so that, you know, and they would lock it or whatever. They would lock the belt down so that she wouldn't be able to sleep with everybody. She couldn't enjoy the pleasures of what came with that level of intimacy. So she can't get hooked on it and become a whoremonger or become defiled, right? And that was saving her from those sins. It was saving her from those acts so that when the right time comes, she would be pure. So sometimes being pure, man, is not fun. It's not fun to be pure. You know what I'm saying? It's not fun to do the right thing, right? You look at everybody else having fun and everybody else living the time of their life and making memories, and you don't have that. But you did the right thing, man. The right thing is what matters. Being chaste, right? Let's get this. We're gonna read 2 Timothy 3:1-5. 3:1-5.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Now he's finna describe what the last days and what perilous times look like. Pay attention to what perilous times look like, because we are living in the last days. And sometimes if you're not woke, if you're not awake, if you're not living according to this world, you won't think that these are perilous times. You would think that these are fun times. You will think, what a time to be alive. But he's about to describe to you what perilous times are. Right? Verse 2.
Verse 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Stop right there. Men are gonna be lovers of their own selves. Everybody conceited, everybody about me, everybody about, and I'm only saying this because I know, for example, I know this to be true in real life situations with friends. There's actually men out there that will start families on accident and say, you know what, since my child and this girl came into my life been hell, man. I gotta do what's right for me. I gotta do what's right for me. Lovers of their own selves, man. And what that comes from is this. We were never supposed to get this much pleasure. We live in a time now to where pleasure is at our fingertips. Men, you were never supposed to see this many attractive women on a social media site. We were never supposed to see that. Think about how people used to live back in the day. You live in your small little farm town or whatever, you know what I'm saying, working your day-to-day job. And you know all the women that's in the area. It may be 2 or 3 fine women in the area. Now at your fingertips, you see thousands. And women weren't supposed to be able to have access to this much money just for showing their body off. Women wasn't supposed to have access to this many thirsty men, right? And because of this, we love ourselves. We become to love ourselves, right?
All that trickles down too and affects your community. The last thing you said about women, you know what I'm saying? It used to be frowned upon to, show your body off for money. Somebody back just 10 years ago probably would have called you a prostitute, you know what I'm saying? Just for having an OnlyFans. But now it's accepted. And now, we talked about this last night about how, people like to protect wickedness nowadays, right? But then also on the flip side, back in the day when men didn't have access to looking at or knowing that there was this many beautiful women in the world, right? They had 1 or 2 that was around them. And then, if they wasn't choosing on them, they had to, come back to reality and choose somebody that was around them that wasn't as, attractive or whatever. But nowadays, now that all these young men, that's why a lot of these young men aren't getting married until they're, in their 40s and stuff, because now you got all these young men that see all these women. They're like, man, I gotta get one of them, bro. I can't settle this, that, and the third. And so, they hold out until they find, quote unquote, the right one. Same thing for women too. They do the same thing, but that's what's kind of causing our younger people to not want to marry early in fear of missing out, right? It's that FOMO.
Fear of missing out. That's a great point. And we have so much pleasure at our fingertips and at our feet, right? We have so many ways of transportation, cars, trains. We can get from city to city, country to country to experience so much, right? And live a life full of sin, go to this party, go to this event, go to this spring break, go to this rodeo. We got all this pleasure at our fingertips to do whatever we want to do, and we end up loving ourselves. I'm doing this, once again, I'm doing this for me. This makes me feel good. This is my hobby, and we promote doing stuff for yourself. Yeah, go ahead, do that for you, girl. Do that for you, my G. You know what I'm saying? And so we become lovers of ourselves and we become our own celebrities, right? Keep reading.
It says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud.
Right, stop right there. All 3 of those right there are dangerous. You see what somebody else got, you want that. You see what somebody else achieved, you want that. You covet everything. You covet their cars, their jewelry. You covet their girls. You cover their man, right? You cover their house, their family, right? And you covet and you boast. When you get something good, you want to show it off all the time, right? You're a boaster, right? But you don't boast of God. You just boast of yourself. You're proud. You're very proud. You can't ever be wrong. Nobody can ever teach you. Nobody can ever put you in your place, right? Keep going.
It says proud, blasphemers,
disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
Keep in mind, this is the last days. All these things that we see, this is the day to day that we see here. You wake up in life and you can point out people that fit all this description. People that are disobedient to their parent, unthankful. Nobody's thankful no more. Nobody tells you thank you no more. You open the door for somebody, they just walk straight through, right? Unholy. Nobody eats holy. Nobody lives holy. Nobody looks holy no more, right? Let's get verse 3.
It says, without natural affection.
Without natural affection. There's no real affection no more. Everything is all transactional and about you. Keep going.
Truth breakers.
Backstabbers, man. Truth breakers. Everybody backstabbing, everybody sliming you, everybody sliming you out. You know, everybody, you can't trust nobody. Everybody got trust issues, bro. That's, you know, keep going.
False accusers.
Everybody lying on each other. This is the time we live in, and it's describing perilous times. And when it's describing perilous times, it's not talking about war all the time. This is talking about the actions of people. This is how people are living. Literally everything that we're reading is how people are living. Why? Because it pleasures them, right? It pleasures them to do these things, right? It makes them feel good, right? Keep going.
Incontinent.
Right.
Fierce.
Right.
Despisers of those that are good.
Right. Man, you do the right thing, man, you're going to have so many haters. You preach the right thing, you're going to have so many haters. You talk the right talk, you're going to have so many people that despise you. Talk behind your back, talk in your face. You know, nobody likes the good boy or the good girl no more. We rather have the sexy reds and she living in her truth and he living in his truth. We rather have that. Man, why you talking about that? It had nothing to do with your life, bro. Let him live, bro. He can be a girl if he want to, bro. Right? Despisers of people that are good. He could be what he want to be, but if I want to be an Israelite, I'm the demon. I'm the demon because I want to be an Israelite, but he could be a girl and he can live in his truth. I can't live in my truth though. So everybody's despisers of people that are good. Right? Verse 4.
Traitors.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say heady. What they say? Heady. Mm-hmm. How you pronounce that?
Yep, heady.
High-minded.
Right.
Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
Read that last part again.
Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
Right. They love pleasure more than they love God. They'll choose pleasure over God every time. And they deceive themselves to think that God wants them to take pleasure. They deceive themselves that God want us to be out here in Cali, bro, on the beach, bro. Bro, God want us to go out tonight, bro. I'm living my best life. God bless me so much. And you got three, four prostitutes in your phone. You asking all the girl what the move is, but you making a social media post that God done bless me. Look at all this, bro. Look at all this I got, bro. God didn't give that to you. You love pleasure, and pleasure gave you that. Chasing pleasure gave you that. Chasing pleasure had you become a traitor to your family or to your friends. Chasing pleasure caused you to get that transmitted disease. Chasing pleasure caused you to get all that stuff from scamming because you were chasing pleasure and you made an excuse to sin. You said, man, for the greater good of me obtaining this, I'll do that. I'll scam. I'll lie. I'll cheat. I won't get into that. But verse 5 is the point, man. The point I'm trying to make throughout this whole video, right? And this is what it boils down to. To be able to do what's right instead of living your life, you got to be able to understand this. 2 Timothy 3 and 5.
2 Timothy 3 and 5.
Oh, right.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away.
Right. You got to understand that, the Most High called us gods, meaning we have dominion over the earth. And if we have dominion over the earth, that means we have dominion over our own bodies. So pleasure should not be tempting us. Like, we should be able to deny anything that's not godly. In the moment that you can't deny anything that's ungodly, you're denying the power that you have as a God on this earth. right? So you gotta do what's right, because what's right is greater than your life. This life is a vapor. This life was lended to you. This life is a test and a trial. You gotta be able to say, you know what? If God want my son, I'm gonna be like Abraham. If God want my kids, He want my land. If He wants my health, I'm gonna be like Job. If God wants my freedom, I'm gonna be like Jeremiah and the disciples. If God want me to be homeless, I'm gonna be like Christ. Right? If God want my 2 pennies, I'm gonna give it to the church, just like that woman did. Right? We got to be able to give things up to the Most High God, man. The pleasures of this life, they only please you. They please you, but we got to want to please the Most High God. So what's right is greater than your life, man. That's all I had. Brothers have anything before we close?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that, at the end of the day, man, the Lord, I ain't gonna say like we don't believe in like free will, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there is an opportunity for you to make decisions, to choose, right? It's just like in America, there's this thing called freedom of speech, but that does not eradicate you from the consequences that could come from the things that you say. So we just got to be mindful about how we moving in the spirit, because the flesh presents every opportunity for us to take advantage of the flesh, and it's not always right to do that. We gotta, again, it all boils back down to making sure that our hearts are towards the Lord, circumcised for the Lord, because when they're not, we do things that pleases our flesh, and they may not be good for our spirit, right? And at the end of the day, we're spiritual people, we're spiritual beings, right? So in order for our spirits to, be more devout and strong, we just got to make sure that everything we do is in line with the spirit and not the flesh, right?
That's a good point, man. If anybody, talks to you contrary to this and say that God gave them freedom and free will, you tell them where did God give us free will? You ask them, show me in the Bible where, because that's the only way we get God's word. That's the only way we get God's thoughts is in the Bible. So show me in the Bible where He said He gave us free will. Show me that, and I'll give you $1,000, right? And I'm not talking about no free will offering. I'm talking about free will to do whatever you want to do. God gave us a choice. Like the brother said, He gave us the decisions to make. And with those decisions come consequences. But anybody got anything else?
Nah, man. Shabbat Shalom, man.
Man, Shabbat Shalom, man. I just play. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, man. We're the hopeful elect. Like our big brother Christ said, man, if you're not gathering, you scattering. So gather together, O nation, not desired. Let's do the right thing.